That's Maria Brink. And Ginger, we're going to open that show. Ginger has hopped off because they are Ukrainian. They are, I'm sure there are plenty of bands from Ukraine, but Ginger, I think, is the most high-profile one. They're not really my cup of tea, but they're very popular. They're very good at what they do. They are from Donetsk in Ukraine, which I think is one of the first areas to be invaded or overrun. So the band Ginger has pulled all of their U.S. tour dates, many of which were on that Slipknot tour, because they want to focus on their countrymen and women. Their families reside in Kyiv, and their focus is on the safety of their families and their country. And so they thought it would be best if they were not on this tour.
That makes a lot of sense. It's also
wild,
a huge bummer, though.
Yeah, it is. So
because this is probably a big break for them to go on a big tour like this, and then you got to step away because some douche thinks that he should invade your country.
That's right.
Do you think this war will last years?
I think the repercussions of it, obviously, you got a decade plus.
Well, yeah, the town might be rubble, especially if they're hitting, nuclear plants.
Well, I mean economic repercussions. I mean, it's, I mean, you can, people who live in the United States don't realize it, but in other countries, they can build things pretty quickly. Over here, it takes you, 5 years to build a friggin' bridge. But yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's a big mess. But when they announced they were doing that Slipknot tour and I was giving away tickets, there were a lot of people who were excited, a lot of Ginger fans, a lot of people along the way who have suggested that band to me. Hey, check these guys out, and I checked them out. And again, they're not my cup of tea, but they do have a lot of fans, so that sucks for people who are into Ginger. I was reading about there's a channel that has been aired in the United States for a long time called RT, Russian television. I think it was on DirecTV. I think Spectrum might have carried it, whatever. RT is folding completely. They laid off about 99% of their staff. They're shutting down in the United States. So that just leaves Fox News as the sole broadcaster for Russian propaganda. But a lot of American celebrities had television shows on RT. It was funded by the Kremlin, but there were people that who had shows on RT. Dennis Miller had a show. Again, that's no big shock. He's kind of become a pretty right-wing guy over the past 20 years. I think, didn't Larry King, wasn't he on one of these Russian?
I think he was, yeah.
I don't know if
it was RT, though, but I think he was on some Russian YouTube channel.
Well, there was another one called Aura TV, O-R-A, Aura. And they were producing shows for RT America, and I think that's where Larry King's show was. I don't know if he still does that, but Dennis Miller had a show over there. And, they were just delaying the inevitable, because for a while, on this side of the pond, people that had been working for RT had an increasingly hard time with kind of, what was going on, and so DirecTV took it off, and they're the biggest satellite provider in the United States. They were the biggest carrier for RT, and so once they announced that they were dropping it, the company's like, well, not much we can do now. So for people who are still watching the Larry King show or the Dennis Miller show, William Shatner had a show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did a weekly talk show over there, just kind of general interest. That's not what it was called.
Chatting with Shat?
Yeah,
Shooting
that
the
was,
Shat.
Yeah.
That
would have been great. Yeah. Shooting the Shat with William Shatner. Chat. No, I don't know what it was called. I didn't see the name of the show. But he's one of the American celebrities who will no longer be doing programming through RT. Alan, on the subject of getting into the wrong car, my roommate's mom was drunk and got in the wrong car and ended up getting tased by the Warren Police Department. Ooh. And she sued for excessive force and ended up on the national news.
Did she win?
I don't know, but that's one of those stories where, on the one hand, you probably have a legitimate concern. On the other hand, your story has to involve you being so drunk that you didn't know where your car was. Secondly, you were very drunk and still trying to get into your car, which meant that you were going to drive home. So even if you're getting national attention for, there might be a case to be made for that being a profile in excessive force, but they're going to go,
You were still going to commit a crime.
yes, ma'am, you were hammered and still looking to try to get into your car to drive home. My dad drove home from the grocery store and noticed a small statue of Jesus on the dash. It wasn't his car, but it was the same model and the key worked. That's fun, too.
That's scary.
That's
a scary thing.
Yeah, if you have a garage door opener that happens to open someone else's garage door, you can have a little bit of fun with that when you're driving by their house and you just hit the button.
I feel like that doesn't happen as often as it used to.
It happened as recently as a couple of years ago. Maybe
for
it doesn't anymore. Yeah.
I mean, but I feel like that was something that was kind of common in the early days of garage door openers.
Probably.
Where they're like, well, no, not even that many people in the neighborhood have one, so there'll be like 8 codes.
We had been living in a house, and when we moved out, a lot of things from a junk drawer had just been thrown into a box or whatever, and didn't really think anything of it. And then discovered that we had one of the garage door openers from the house that we left.
Oh.
And I was like, I wonder, just in the back of my brain, I wonder if this would open, would they change it up? Would they whatever? So no reason to think that it wouldn't still open it up.
So it's not like it was a random house. You had the actual garage door opener for the house.
In that instance, I did, yes. But there were cases before where you would have, it was on the same frequency or something, and so I remember a buddy of mine pranking somebody because he had a garage door opener that opened their garage door.
Well, there's a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I feel like there was a time when people get scanners that could figure out the garage door frequency, and they would rob people that way.
Yeah.
And same thing with the keyless entry for cars. They would be able to figure that out, too. I mean, it was like a device that was pretty expensive, but if you're trying to live a life of crime, you could pay it off in no time if you're stealing stuff out of people's garages and flipping it.
Yeah, now you can just
lawnmowers and stuff.
Now you can just put an Apple AirTag on somebody's car.
Yeah, right.
Find out where they're going.
That's real scary. That happened to a lady around here. She posted about it, and it was in the news, and yeah, someone put an AirTag on her car and was tracking her.
That sucks.
Yeah, scary.
Well, my friend's prank ended really badly too because he would drive by and he would open up the neighbor's garage door. It got to the point where they were convinced that their house was haunted, and the dad went mad and murdered the whole family. So my friend's prank,
yeah, that's a
it started off. It started off as just a little thing.
That's like the ones where they go. They pretend like they're getting caught cheating, and they go, "Oh yeah, well I've been cheating on you."
Like Office Space.
Yeah.
Alan, I came out of the movies one blustery winter to find my unlocked car filled with cigarette butts. A bum must have chain smoked in there to keep warm. How long was that movie? Boy, you better lock your car if you're going to see the Batman.
Yeah, right.
You have a bum move into your car. You'd be hanging curtains by the time you get out of that movie. Those hoses are designed to break away. A lot of people in the town, they're like, it's very, very rare that somebody will drive off with. But there are still a lot of old gas stations, by the way. You go to like a Gas USA on like Clark Avenue, you're going to be able to pull the pump away if you're not careful.
And gas is always like 3 cents cheaper there, so why wouldn't you go there?
Why wouldn't you? Of course.
It's worth it.
I have a very strong memory of my dad getting pulled over when I was 5. I'm pretty sure he was a bit stoned. But he drove off with the pump attached, and he'd been dragging it down the road. Got pulled over.
That is an awful, awful scenario.
Sir, do you know that? Yeah.
Why don't you mind your business, pig?
Yeah.
That's how I like to drive around.
That's the sound of the police.
Like, I wonder about the people that get pulled over for something silly. Not like an out tail light, but like your blinker has been on for like miles, and you're like super paranoid that like, oh my gosh, what's he stopping for? And then he just like rolls down the window like, I swear, officer, I'm not drunk, I'm not high. Well, I may be a little high, but
Well,
hey,
you
I was
don't
just
say that.
I was just letting you know that your blinker was on for like 3 blocks. Oh, yeah. Well, forget everything I just said. Immediately.
Why don't you mind your business?
I got a cop came and knocked on my window the other night because I was playing music too loud.
Really?
They still do that?
I was waiting to pick someone up.
On your
and-
window, you're on the 9th floor.
No, I was like
your
in
car
my
window.
car,
His car.
and I was waiting to pick somebody up.
Can he levitate?
And just, enjoying some nice yacht rock, apparently too loud because somebody in the neighborhood did, and they just come up and go, hey, music's a little loud. I was like,
Really?
yeah. And I was like,
in your car?
in my car.
What were you cranking that loud? Yacht rock making your windows rumble?
I guess.
Making a neighbor
we're-
call the cops.
It was probably, I've been on that Steve Winwood kick. It was something like that. Which
And how
I think
long-
is a hilarious thing. And
No, it's funny, but how long were you out there where
not
this
that long.
person was able to call the cops and then have the cops there?
It was not that long. So
Wow.
they were like on it lickety split.
Wow.
Yeah.
Steve Winwood.
Yeah. Just like,
Sir, could
I
you
can't
turn
get
down-
any sleep in this neighborhood because someone out there is trying to find out about a higher love.
That's right. Who is Valerie? I don't know. This guy's back in the high life, and I got to work in the morning. Come on. Alan, I was on East 9th and Euclid this morning, right near where your new studios are going to be, watching a woman walk from car to car, checking the handles to see if the cars were unlocked. Well, you best believe I'm going to lock my car downtown. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just talking about if I'm going to the Giant Eagle to get a couple of things, I don't reflexively lock my
The
car.
balls on someone like that. Like,
Well, they got nothing else to do. They're
But-
walking around downtown. They got nothing to do and all day to do it.
but it's just like in broad daylight. Like, you're not even trying to be sneaky. You are going from car to car. There's no other scenario in which you have to be stealing. There's no scenario where, like, oh, I'm just making sure everyone's, doors are locked properly. And if it wasn't, I was going to lock them. Like, no, you're in broad daylight looking to steal. And it doesn't care who sees you.
Mm-hmm.
That just the balls on someone like that. It's not the fact that they had the time. I know they had the time, but
Yeah, if you're gonna live a life of crime, there's no.
you're not
Wrong
even gonna
time
be
to do
sneaky.
it.
Like a pickpocket at least does it. He doesn't like, hey, I'm gonna take your wallet. see.
But there's not cars down there later at night, so they got to go when there's cars there. So they got to take advantage of the time, especially like if it's a weekday. Like on a weeknight, you might be able to get a car, but on a week or a weekend, you'll find cars down there. But on a weeknight, it's pretty. There's not a ton of cars downtown on a Monday or Tuesday.
And we're going to be parked in the garage.
yeah.
It's pretty ballsy if you're going car to car when they're parallel parked on the street.
Yeah. Oh, it
in
is.
a garage.
Not saying it's not.
Right.
But there's a lot of people. I sent you that story about the guy that he got busted. He was robbing people, but he was wearing the same shoes that he wears in his TikTok videos.
Stop.
He's got 150,000 followers on TikTok, and he's wearing the same shoes that he was wearing in one of his videos, or like a bunch of his videos, and they were like able to figure out it was him based on the description and match up the shoes. And then not only does he get arrested from that, then he gets roasted by a bunch of people in comments on social media.
They were
because
that unique, the shoes?
It's not that they were that unique. It's that they went with everything else in the description.
This was in Detroit.
Yeah.
A guy named Chosen Terrell Hanna, 22, arrested by the FBI
Yeah.
and confessed to robbing 4 convenience stores in 3 months.
Jesus.
And they got him by his TikTok videos, where he had more than 149,000 followers.
See, people.
They were able to connect a pair of white Nikes with red spots directly to the scene of the crime.
Yeah, and then all the people I saw that on a sneaker website or a sneaker social media account, and they're like, man, if you're going to commit crimes, you got to wear the black Air Force Ones. That's the shoe of crime. That's what you get away with crimes in, is if you wear the black Air Force Ones.
The shoe of crime.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you don't tell me people don't notice shoes. So if I'm in the stall and I want to, pop one off, People are noticing my shoes.
I have a feeling people might be taking more interest in shoes of a person who's robbing them, committing a crime.
I'm robbing their nostrils. Okay.
Robbing their nostrils of fresh air. Devotion accuracy. A couple of people have texted me, Alan, Larry King stopped doing that show for Russian TV when he died. I forgot that Larry King died.
Yeah, he's dead.
He died over a year ago. I'm sorry. I completely forgot that Larry King died.
Dude, he's
just one of those guys who looked like he was going to die for so long that you forget. January 23rd, 2021. Yeah, he died. So thank you for that.
Did he walk with that hunchback? Like
hunchback?
Yeah.
Like he
got real slouchy towards the end.
Yeah, he was always leaning over with elbows on the table.
That interview of him with Danny Pudi where he's saying, what's a luxury that you would give up? And he says coffee, and he's like, no, I'm talking like private jets. And he's like, Larry, I'm on DuckTales.
A luxury you can't live without.
A luxury I can't live without. Coffee. I really like good
It's not
coffee.
a luxury. You can get it anywhere.
I guess, yeah, I like good coffee.
I love coffee, too.
I like nice socks.
Socks. Your socks, would you put in your shoes?
Yeah, I really love them. I like kind of like, cozy feet.
You're attracted to your socks.
I'm attracted to really nice running socks. Like, I'm always looking for good running socks.
That's not a luxury, though. Coffee and socks are not a luxury.
All right, give me a luxury. What luxury should I have?
Private plane.
Larry, I'm on DuckTales.
You feel like people were just humoring Larry King, I'm on DuckTales.
That show has so many moments like that. Then Tom Segura was on one time, and he was saying chocolate souffle. He was saying chocolate souffle, and Larry King goes, "Saka souffle." And then he can't say Mark Wahlberg while he's talking to, because he was in a movie with Mark Wahlberg. He goes Mark.
Towards
Mark
the
Wahlberg.
end, people were just going to Larry King
Yeah.
to see if they would end up going viral.
Yeah.
DuckTales.
DuckTales. Saka souffle.
Saka
And
souffle.
by the way, that's very privileged. Like coffee and nice socks. To
Like
some
indulging
people
in it,
are a luxury. Like to some people, like, oh my gosh, I got these really nice wool socks.
But
Like
that shows you how much money Larry King has, where he's like, socks and coffee. No, I'm talking about getting on that PJ, son.
PJ. Somebody texted me in all caps, "You son of a bitch, you installed the garage door opener, but you didn't change the code, did you?" Why? Poltergeist. "You son of a bitch, you didn't change the code." Why? Alan, you'd have to kill me before I followed a sneaker social media account. Well, you're not a sneakerhead.
oh, dude, they're
Bill
all over.
is.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of followers.
My son is too. No, listen.
I almost followed your son on TikTok.
Why almost?
Well, he popped up.
He and my daughter just started following me on TikTok, and I was like, oh, I don't follow them because I assumed they'd block me out or something.
I don't know why it popped up, because probably because I followed you. But if they have you blocked, I don't know why.
I don't know that they do. I don't think they're posting anything that they wouldn't want me to see. That's not really their vibe. But I saw that they started following my account, which is just a show account, just clips of the show. In Montreal, the cops broke into my car overnight and left me a ticket for having my door unlocked. Well, then they didn't break into your car. If the door was unlocked, they opened it up. That's still a weird thing to get a ticket for.
That's still breaking and entering. If you walk into a house, whether it's like locked
But it's
or
not-
not, that's breaking and entering.
It's entering. It's not breaking. You didn't break anything. I mean,
it's still, but the law is breaking and
You're
entering.
not supposed to go into people's homes, yes, but the onus is still. I'm amazed. I have neighbors who tell me, "Oh, we don't ever lock our doors." Are
That's
you
insane.
insane?
Yeah.
And we live in a nice neighborhood. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I would never ever not lock my doors.
No, I always lock my doors.
That's how I was raised. And you lived in the sticks, and I'm sure you guys.
Yeah,
locked
we
your
still
doors.
locked our doors.
Yeah,
like,
well,
my dad was paranoid because, I mean, for reasons, because people would rob us. Like, we had, a lot of it happened more for like his work stuff. So we had a pretty significant security system. So if any door opened, it would make a chime noise. If you drove into the driveway, it would make a chime noise. If you drove into the like the back part where our barn was, where he kept a lot of equipment, that would be a separate chime noise so that he would know people are going back there. So there was, not a lot of sneaking around happening.
Yeah.
After, he robbed him once.
Shame on you.
But then people would start robbing from the work sites, and he had to up that security too.
Wow.
Yeah.
All kinds of things to worry about.
But I have.
Well, then when you go to Montreal, we don't have a bureau chief up there. You go to Montreal, make sure that you lock your doors.
I mean, I always make sure.
Sacre bleu.
Even when if I don't always close my door, but if I'm running to throw something away in the garbage, it's just down the hall and it's just a chute, and I don't always lock my door. I don't always close it. But what I do is I'll make sure I take my key with me just in case I live in a building and there are weird, if I have the windows open, a door could shut. And then all of a sudden I'm locked out of my apartment in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it locks if it's shut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to break here. I know they're having issues with the app again, so I'm sending the information along to the appropriate parties, and thank you for keeping me abreast. If you want to text for something,